Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined by Josh Bowe. We are coming to you. It's a little later than we would have liked, about 10:30 on Thursday, January 29th. Josh, how are you?
Doing good. That was a fun game. We have a lot to talk about. I mean, even if it wasn't a fun game, with the ceremonies and the festivities, we'd at least have that. But it was also a great game.
A significantly better basketball game. Or at least more up and down and more to talk about.
Oh, the antithesis of yesterday's game. Yeah, absolutely.
The Mavericks lost 123 to 121 to the Hornets. Considering how the first quarter went, this ended up being a pretty good basketball game. Sort of speaks to what we've talked about all season in terms of the team's resilience, in terms of really shitty coaching in the first quarter. Kind of constantly putting them at a deficit. The stealth tank on Jason Kidd is not going unnoticed. So just a quick note before we get going. Prairie fans in the chat asks, why are there two streams? Quite candidly, there are two streams, one for mobile. There's a little phone icon next to it, and then one for desktop, and they look different. Sometimes you get a very close-up view of Josh and I's face. Okay, so Mavericks start off first quarter pretty sloppy. They end up down 33 to 20. Cooper's kind of quiet. Kon Knueppel just cooking with gas as the Mavericks were like, here, please shoot as many open shots as you can. Second quarter comes around. Ryan Nembhard plays more point guard. Cooper Flagg scores 23 in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of as the Hornets are not. I mean, look, all these, there's only two good teams in the NBA this year, but all of them are in the Western Conference, and none of them are in the East, and the West or the East is just so stupid. So Flagg just attacks relentlessly, kind of scores at will, makes it a much closer game by halftime. Hilariously long halftime, which we'll talk about after the break, where Mark Aguirre gets his jersey retired, and just really an inspiration for anybody that aspires to just speak your mind about whatever the heck you want to for as long as you want to. Good for Mark. We'll talk about that later. Second half rolls around. Mavericks quickly tie it. And then it just is kind of a back and forth game. Rest of the game. Had a great time. Had a great time watching. Cooper Flagg played. Not particularly interested in the Cooper Flagg Kon Knueppel debate for Rookie of the Year, because they're both really, really fun basketball players who have very different roles on their team. You can see why they worked so well as teammates. And for anybody that didn't watch college basketball, it's kind of preposterous that they didn't win the national championship. But we'll kind of get to that, because Cooper Flagg in the clutch has had some goofy things happen. Just to keep rambling, Coop finishes with, and the fourth quarter comes and goes. It's another clutch game. Coop kind of relentlessly gets the ball. Daniel Gafford gives up because he just doesn't rotate out of the lane late in the quarter. Gives up a three to make it 121 to 118 with like a minute left. Flagg answers with a three of his own, 121 apiece. Then the Mavericks play really good defense to force a missed shot. Then Flagg commits what is, I'm pretty sure, just double checking the numbers here, commits only his second turnover of the entire basketball game by throwing the ball to no one in one of the most oh fuck, I shouldn't have passed that plays that I've ever seen in a basketball game. Kon Knueppel comes up with a loose ball after a great hustle play by the Hornets, draws a foul on Flagg in a move that was like, oh, I know that you're going to try to block me this way kind of thing. Hits two free throws, and Cooper is not able to hit a game-tying shot, which would have sent it into overtime in the final possession of the game. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, we got to start with Cooper. I mean, most points in a single game by a teenager in NBA history.
19 or 18-year-old now. He holds both records.
Yeah. Most points in a game by a Mavericks rookie, which is just crazy. He tied it earlier this year, and of course it's held by Mark Aguirre. It is just kind of
It's good stuff there.
Sports is just it's just
script writers pen that one up. And we're like,
it's just crazy that he broke this while Aguirre was in attendance and on his jersey retirement night broke his record. But yeah, I mean, he was incredible. I mean, he was probably the only reason this game wasn't close. Yes. I mean, if you look at a lot of these, the Mavericks probably should have lost this game by a billion points. Yes. I mean, they were outscored at the 3-point line. The Hornets made 23s and the Mavericks made I mean,
27. I didn't realize this was that bad till just now.
This was the fact that the Mavericks had the ball with 4 seconds left to tie or take the lead with that much of a deficit from three is honestly a miracle. And it took a Herculean effort from Flagg to keep it that close. The Mavericks did some things well besides that. I mean, Cooper was incredible. He was 20 and 29 from the floor. He was 14 and 17 in the paint. I mean, this dude left hand, this dude downhill. Mavericks had 60 points in the paint again. The Mavericks can't shoot. They were 3 of 18 from three last night. They were 11 of 33 from three. They can't shoot, but they're one of the best driving, paint scoring teams in the NBA. Every team in the NBA knows what the Mavs want to do. They don't want to shoot threes. They want to score at the paint. They want to attack off the dribble. They want to isolate. They want to drive. And they still get 60 points in the paint seemingly every other night. Like, I don't know how teams aren't just playing like box and one against this team, against Cooper. Because, like, they can't shoot. I've never seen a team this bad at shooting be this good at the rim. Because usually that kind of complements each other, right? It's hard to score in the rim when you don't have spacing and you don't have respect on the shooter. Defenses can close in, but man, they're still able to do it despite the fact that they can't hit any shots. And a lot of that is, I think, Clay's gravity. He's seemingly a one-man floor spacer, so that helps a lot. And another is just Cooper is that good. Like, he is just undeniably great going downhill with the ball in his hands.
Well, and we had spoken during the Mavericks. I guess they won 5 out of 6 at one point.
4 in a row, yeah.
Previous 2 losses. During that 5 out of 6 win streak, the Mavericks as a team were shooting 43% from three, and they are a 34% team from three on the season. That's almost entirely attributed to the fact that Max Christie and Klay Thompson were shooting out of their minds during this stretch. And tonight, those two were combined 5 of 18. 2 more made threes changes the percentages quite a bit, but it's just not enough. I mean, poor Max was quite bad from distance tonight. Had some really good looks too. And, he's kicking himself. And so it's one of those things where, we got kind of used to this during the previous era where role players weren't exactly always coming through, but then that's sort of the design. I tend to lean towards the narrative of Cooper being absurd was really the story much more than anything else. Not only because it's fun, but I also think it's true. I mean, you go look at Flagg's stat run tonight. He was 20 for 29 from the floor. He gets to the line 6 times. And like, I've been watching some of the chat talk about this. At some point, he's just going to get 10 free throws a game if he attacks like this during the course of his career. He just is. He attacks too hard. I don't want to be a refs guy because I'm not interested in that. He gets hit a lot, and because he doesn't seek the contact, he kind of initiates and drives. I think that because he's a rookie, there's just some of that stuff going on. There just is.
Every rookie goes through it.
It'll suss itself out over the course of time. 10 rebounds, which is a really good rebounding game for him. The 3-point shooting, the 3-point makes.
The one that he made to tie the game was like, that's not a shot he has taken this season, and he confidently nailed that.
Well, and there's some really weird stuff in comparison to his lone season at Duke, where he couldn't shoot the 3 through December, and then January rolled over, and all of a sudden he could shoot the 3. Like, it was preposterous, quite honestly, if you're looking at the shooting splits. This is not that, but his shot no longer looks like when he pulls up, I no longer am concerned because late November, middle of December, those shots would go up and it would feel like a field goal kicker in a windy day, where sometimes it would just, go. And that's because of the thumb. And he's just in a better place health-wise with the hands. But this dude is just really, really incredible to watch. And I'm going to look back on this point in his career and wonder, we've talked just so much about the cap on him being impossible to predict. I'm pretty sure a 50-point game. I remember looking at some preseason stuff on him in terms of triple doubles, 50-point game. The odds on it were ridiculous, just ridiculous. And he keeps coming through. There's only a few plays this game where I'm like, all right, Caleb Martin, throw the ball to him, please. And he gets the ball pretty regularly. I don't think he's getting iced out as much as maybe the online community.
Yeah, I mean, he shot 29 times.
29 times is a lot. That's probably, come on. What are we? I get that you want him to shoot more. I get, if you don't want him to throw that.
Yeah, when he's having a night like this, and anytime anyone shoots the ball, you're going to, fans are going to get mad. But it's just not how it works.
I wish he would have turned the ball over in the way that he did. So
yeah, the last two possessions felt a little like I didn't see the structure there. It was a lot of give Cooper. It felt like it was give Cooper the ball and go, which I thought that they had been doing a better job in the fourth quarter. Not necessarily, they weren't running complicated actions, but they were being very deliberate who was screening for Coop and trying to force matchups. And I felt like those last two possessions were just, the first, the turnover came after they didn't call timeout, which is fine. I'm normally a fan, play off the miss, but it didn't look like they had anything ready for it. And Cooper kind of pulled up and it just looked like they didn't have their ducks in a row. Not saying they should have called a timeout there, but it just didn't work. And then they come after the timeout, and with 4 seconds left, there's not really much you could do. It's kind of just catch and throw something up. But yeah, those last two possessions, he wasn't really in a great position to do much with it, with the way that the play was unfolding. But man, other than that, it was pretty remarkable. And I was gonna come on here and be like, is he gonna go down as the best rookie in Mavericks history, in a Mavericks organization that has Luka Doncic and Dirk Nowitzki and Mark Aguirre play for them? And I don't know if he's there yet. I kind of forgot that Luka got to 21 points per game his rookie season. For some reason in my head, I thought Luka was 19 or 20 points per game, but he did get to 20. He was 21, basically 21, 8 and 6.5. So I don't know, but Cooper could get there. There's a lot of season left. And Cooper was at 18.8 entering this game. So I'm sure that nudged up to 19 after tonight. So I don't know, but it's a fun question to think about, because you think about the pedigree of the rookies that the Mavericks have had the last 40 years. It's something, man. He's the real deal. He's the real deal.
Yep. PJ Washington, figure it out, brother. He had some just awful play. 6 and 19 is just unacceptable. His January shooting splits have to be terrible. I'm gonna go take a look here. In the month of January, he is shooting 41% from the floor and 56% from the line and 18% from three. So the month's over. Well, is there one more game? Yeah, I guess there is one more game on Saturday. One more game to kind of turn that around. But I want to sound respectful because he's had some personal life stuff going on. But basketball's got to be a place where you can retreat from the real world. That's what I always tell my kid. Just need a little more. Not asking for 55% shooting. I'm asking for one more made basket.
Yeah, outside of Clay and Brandon Williams, Cooper was pretty much on an island offensively. No one really had it. Christie didn't have it. PJ didn't have it. Gafford didn't get a lot of attempts. Gafford's game might actually be PJ at least got the ball up.
They just need to sit Gafford. Just put him on the bench until he's healthy. I'm tired of this dead fish flopping routine every game. I'm over it.
He gets gimpy again very early in the game, and like this is, I mean, he had, the broadcast mentioned it. He had the best game of his career against Charlotte a year ago. And this Charlotte team has probably a worse front court than that team he played last year, which already was bad.
Yep.
I mean, they're playing Moussa Diabate as their starting center, and then they're playing their second round rookie, Ryan Kalkbrenner. Like, Gafford should have dominated this game. And I don't know, again, maybe he got hurt, he didn't look physically able to dominate the game. So that's tough. Like, this is about as a layup of a matchup for him as he'll play all season. And the fact that he wasn't able to really leave his mark on the game, I think says a lot.
I mean,
like they just need to get him right.
Moussa Cisse out rebounds him in 8 fewer minutes. I'm not interested in the Gafford stuff. I like Daniel Gafford. I'm not
just get him help. You don't like hurt gimpy Daniel Gafford. Yeah.
It's not useful minutes. Like, I would rather see Dwight Powell hustling his butt off and Moussa Cisse than this. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that Powell, who kind of was excellent during that winning stretch, like just out of the rotation now. Like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy with how well they're playing. And I know I posted some stats on Twitter that got some people mad about the Mavericks on-off numbers with Cooper and Dwight compared to Cooper and AD. But that was kind of bizarre that this was probably the best few game stretch that Dwight has played all season. I mean, he came into this game, he was basically averaging like 25 minutes a game coming into the night, and now he plays 5.
Mm-hmm.
I get that the Minnesota game wasn't great, but no one really played well in that Minnesota game. And I get the Lakers, he didn't play well against the Lakers. He didn't play well against Minnesota necessarily. Although Minnesota, he made some plays. The Lakers game was bad. He didn't do much, but like he was all over that winning streak. So for that to go to 5 minutes, I don't know. Especially in this matchup too, I think he would have been useful in this matchup. It's not like the Hornets have an imposing front court, so just having like a veteran to just know where to be and be in the right spots. Not saying that Gafford's not that. And Moussa Cisse, I actually liked his 17 minutes. He played pretty well.
I did too. That's why I'm kind of
just weird. It's just weird for him to play so well and already like, oh, you're already back out of the rotation. Like, and I get it. Like, I mean, Gafford's the money man. Like that's who they.
But also, like,
put their money on.
If you want to talk about it in terms of, Gafford is going to be a guy they move.
Well, you would think. Are they going to move anyone?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I need ESPN's auto plays to chill the fuck out.
I know it's
It's like, God, all of a sudden some lady's screaming at me and it's an ad. All right, let's go to break real quick.
Yeah.
Before we cut to that break, 3 ways to support the show. Tell your friends. Second way to support the show is to listen to the ads, and which I'll be inserting here shortly. Third way, there's some links in the show notes, which you can, of course, click upon and send us money directly. All right. We will be right back. So thanks for listening. All right. So I am actually going to host a group therapy tonight because I think this game was much more interesting than last night's. We didn't have anybody in here last night. That's fine. Different kind of game. Couple of notes. Just one. There's some good. Obviously, we have a lively, friendly chat. Shout out to everyone being nice to one another. We no longer have couple of weird local people that used to hang out here and be really frustrating. Proud Vet notes that the efficiency is the point. The 3-point attempts are critical. Kon's gravity was decisive. Absolutely. I mean, you might have pumped into the show later, but we talked about how the Hornets were plus 29 from 3. Like that's
Kon was awesome too. We didn't even kind of talk about like the
Kon.
That second quarter was peak. Like that was awesome to watch.
If Kon ends up winning Rookie of the Year, I'm not gonna. I like watching him play too much. It's very different than like the Trey Luka thing where I'm like, this guy's doing a worse version of Luka, Kon is a remarkably impressive basketball player, and
His team's better than the Mavericks right now.
I don't know. Some of the things like they got a good LaMelo game.
They're 21-18. The Mavericks are 19-29. I mean, I know they play in the East. If the Mavericks play in the East,
they're not 21-18. Go look at that.
21-28.
Yeah, they're still well under 500. They suck.
They're still better than the Mavs.
Melo had a couple of those hilarious 3-point attempts that he just occasionally makes, like the fadeaway 1-footer, like at like the volleyball line. So it's just, then he's just an interest. This game could have gone either way. I had a great time watching. That's kind of what I want to come back on that. I'm not really bitching about anything. It's if you want Cooper to expand to 3-point range and take more threes, I don't think you're going to get a lot of argument from me. I also think that Cooper should draw more fouls, and that's not something that's going to happen this season. Okay. The other thing in the game we should talk about, and then we'll get on to my group therapy. They did the retirement for Mark Aguirre. And, last night's show, if you didn't listen to it, Josh and I talked about the Minnesota game for about 10 minutes. And then we pivoted over to what this retirement might be like. And then I talked about my experience at the Mavs Lakers game. So you should go listen to that show if you didn't listen. But this retirement, number one, I just want to get this out of the way. I loved it.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I love the whole day. I love the whole thing. I think that retiring jerseys should happen for teams and for franchises like the Mavericks that have a good history and a lot to celebrate. And
it's kind of criminal that there's so few jerseys retired. I guess sometimes it's like you want to keep it sacred, but also it's like, I don't know.
Well, my theory on it is this. Mark bought the team in 1999, right? That sounds right. Or 2000, early 2000, whatever it is. The stink of the 90s teams, which he was the season ticket holder for, and I think he might have been a fan of the team in the 80s. I think his brain blended a lot of the 80s and the 90s together, which happens. I'm not criticizing this. But if you buy the team in 2000, the 80s are not that long ago. But as he owned the team for a really long time, it got weirder and weirder and weirder. And the fact that they never did this, I think, was a mistake. It's okay to say that. Mistakes happen. I make them every podcast. But a lot of people, including a lot of our staff, were very, very jaded at the notion of retiring this guy's jersey. He was the number 1 overall pick in 1981, the Mavericks' first number 1 overall pick. He was eventually traded to the Pistons, helped them win a championship there. I am not super familiar with his career, but I got to tell you what, how emotional he has been during this whole process and how much it mattered to him mattered to me. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, he was before our time. But I always remember him because when we're watching Dirk in junior high and high school, his name was always the one that came up when you're watching Dirk's career. Like anytime Dirk had an awesome game, it's like, Dirk is setting a new Mavericks record for this. He just passed Mark Aguirre. Like it was always Mark Aguirre, always like whatever, like, usually about scoring, but, on the all-time scoring list too. So like, I never watched him live because I was born in 1989. But I always was aware of him and just being around Dirk and the Mavericks during Dirk's prime. Like you just kind of had to respect the history of the org and what came before it. And yeah, he was an incredible player. I remember going, like my dad talked to me about him when my dad's not from here, but he was a sports fan and he grew up in Philly. So, 76ers Mavs games back in the 80s, those were some good games. Told me how good of a player this guy is. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely deserving. I mean, there's like 15 more jerseys I want the Mavs to retire like that. So, more of this, it's a lot of fun. And I think the way it matters to these guys, I think is special.
I wrote this, and I apologize for reading my own tweet. It's very hokey, but I tweeted in the end of the ceremony. I said, raise all the jerseys, honor history, remember some guys is the essence of sports. It reminds us of where we've been so we can hope to get there again one day. And I can bookmark elements of my life by sports.
Yeah.
That's just
We all can, yeah.
And I yeah, it's why I thought other people did this too. And there's guys from 2000 to 2011 that just matter. And seeing Sean Marion over his shoulder, it's like that guy is so important to the Dallas Mavericks. So who he guarded in 2011 in the playoffs is just out of control. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about it. We respect it, but it's just, why not celebrate it? Who cares? None of this is real. It's a basketball. It's a sport. We give it value. We do. And so it's just one of those things that sort of sits in my head, and I hope they do it again. His speech was just delightfully old man, where there was a lot of let's wrap it up. And he seemed to figure that out about 2/3 of the way through and said, fuck it. I'm going to keep talking.
He thanked everyone. And hey, why not, man? How long did he wait for this moment?
That's right.
Take as much time as you want.
That's right. Just a riot. I enjoyed my time with it. And then I was just glad to see that the second half of the game didn't suffer from having to wait.
Shout out to the players for having a 40-minute halftime, and then the third quarter was like they picked up right where they left off. The Hornets hit like a bunch of three. Like I was like, okay. I made a joke in Slack. I was like, we're about to witness the ugliest third quarter in NBA history.
That can happen.
Just because pro athletes are slave to their routine, right? Like that's how they are so elite. Is they are dialed in that much. So the fact that they were able to come out and both teams played really well in that third quarter, actually. That was good. But yeah, that was a fun night. I don't know what else really to say other than it was fun. It needs to happen more often. It was well deserved. And I hope, because he was like, this wasn't a guy, because again, the relationship to the org was rocky for so long. You just didn't hear about him a lot outside of, Dirk just passed Mark Aguirre on the list, but like he wasn't at games during Dirk's prime. Like, he wasn't around the org really up until, whenever they decided to bury the hatchet and bring him back into the fold. I never really heard from him related to Dallas. So not only is he, a player from, 45 years ago, which sounds insane to say about the 80s now. But combine that with the fact that he was kind of black sheeped out of the org for another 20 years. Like there's so many people my age, younger, maybe even a little older than me, that just don't have any idea the importance that this guy brought, or how good he was, because you just don't know what you don't know. Right. So I'm glad it kind of shined a light on that page of Mavericks history that doesn't really get talked about a lot.
I agree. I said this to our staff, and sometimes I forget that I'm 42 and we have people that are in our staff that are in their 20s. Just to point this out for fun, Tim Cato was in his very teens when he wrote with Mavs Moneyball way back when. But I say all this to note when I told the staff, I said, you don't know who Mark Aguirre is for the Mavericks by design.
Yeah.
What happened to Luka Doncic last year when the Mavericks pulled all his shit out of the lockers is what the Mavericks did to Mark Aguirre. His name just was in the record book too boldly to fucking ignore.
Yeah.
And so it's I'm not telling anybody they have to feel a certain way about Aguirre. If you don't have any of that emotional touch point, don't. But this franchise for a basketball basketball franchises, they're, how many of them? We got 30. The Mavericks are in the upper echelon in terms of historical, interesting stuff. Big picture. The 90s were not good, but the 80s were incredible. I mean, what the Mavericks did in the 80s, how they schnookered people out of picks, resulted in the Stepien rule. We forget that. Then the 2000s were great. Most of the 2010s were interesting. And now we're here. There's just a lot of good, positive, interesting history. And I said this last night, I'll say it again. Not all history that we cover needs to be good. Sometimes you need to know why things were ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody in the chat asked what most surprised me about Aguirre's game when I looked into it. Sorry, I can't see. I want to say, I think it was Scott AU. Just his post moves for his size. Like, that is not a big man. He was listed at 6'5". Did you guys see him tonight? He had that old man spine curve. I don't believe he was 6'5". Like, he
yeah, he was a shooting guard that would play like a power forward at times.
Just lots of fun stuff. And granted, the 80s basketball is truly weird. Like, you go watch some of these games and it's a different fucking sport. Like, the skills are still there, but the execution of those skills. So anyway, 30 minutes. We've been talking. Do you got anything else? And then I'll go to the next show.
No, that was fun. Yeah, let's, that Charlotte team is fun to watch. Like that was a good game. I'm sure there's more X's and O's we could have talked about. I'm kind of rattling my head, but I'll write some stuff in our stats post, and hopefully we'll have a lot of good post game stuff going.
Somebody might have done the stats post for you. You want to check that before you start writing. Somebody. There's some weird stuff afoot. We play another nationally televised ABC game on Saturday against the Rockets. They play a ton of nationally televised games. This is ridiculous.
That's what happens when you get the number 1 overall pick.
I mean, I'll take it.
People want to see him.
Saturday, Houston. We'll be here after the fact. Everybody be good. Hang out, though, if you want to, because I'm going to do Pod Maverick. Mavs Party. No, Group Therapy. Whatever. I'm really bad at naming my own podcast. Everybody
Cooper scored 49 points. You can call it a Mavs Party.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, hang out. We'll be right back. Thanks, Josh, for hanging out. Get some sleep. Go Mavs. Oops, wrong button. Go Mavs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. I am Kirk Henderson, editor over at MavsMoneyball.com. If you want to join the show, the way to do so is really simple. There is a comment in the chat that has, I'm going to go pin right now. I realized I didn't do that during the interlude. You can click on the link. You can join the show. We can talk a little basketball. It's supposed to be fun. It is better than yelling at one another on ye old internet, which is what people seem to like to do on Twitter and Reddit, etc. Got 2 folks already waiting. My rule here, when we have more people than others, is I may kind of move folks along. Don't take that personally. It's just a matter of fact that I want people to get a chance to speak. So coming up first is Patrick. How you doing, Patrick?
Hey, pretty good. I got a super quick spiel to make about the game. I think that's game of the year. That was the most excited I've been watching a game, or at least for the Mavs, not for the NBA. Kon's the real deal. Obviously, Coop is. I'm not mad about the last shot because he needs to get his reps in for things like that, but it was a very handsy shot. Like, he just never really got the ball in his hands and got unbalanced. But about the Mark Aguirre thing, there are so many funny moments in that. I'm not going to go down all of them, but I recommend people watch. There's especially they booed ownership, which was amazing. And then Harp was like, "All right, let's not do that right now." But since we don't know a lot about Mark Aguirre, I did wonder what was the problem, and no one really ever gets specific about it. But I know that he had issues. I always thought he had issues with the org, the coach and up top and that kind of thing. But apparently there were I don't want to say locker room cancer, but it was a rocky locker room. So I heard. But he was actually traded for Adrian Dantley, who I heard was also a piece of work on the Detroit Pistons. So they kind of traded each other's headaches. And it worked out for Mark and the Pistons.
I think there's an element to that. I mean, the late 80s Mavericks, and I'm going to speak broadly so I don't fuck anything up because I was also not old enough. The late 80s Mavericks they really pushed the Lakers. And that's And when you get that close to the finals, because I'm pretty sure they took them to a game 7 in one of the
Yeah,
years.
I think that was 88.
When you
and
get
maybe-
that close, things fray. Things fray is what I'll say. And I can't remember when he was traded because I'm just, it's hard to say. You know,
I think it was the next season. The
so
following season.
if it was the next season, that would stand to reason. John Stevenson asked a question I'm going to come back to in a minute. John, thank you for that question. I'll circle back to it in a second. I just think like 80s basketball is particularly wild. There's just like the league wasn't that old. And it just things happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad they were good early on, because who knows, if we floundered around, we might, be the Las Vegas Mavericks or some, we could have moved like Vancouver moved, or any other team. Things were not guaranteed back then for franchises and cities. And then no old school Mavs to shout out this time. It's Mark Aguirre's night, so that's all I got.
Hey man, thanks a lot. Did you watch any of the other recent games? I know I haven't had one of these in a while. Any other Mavericks thoughts in your mind?
Not off the top of my head. I did not come prepared. Usually
Okay.
I started writing notes for games, but I also did not give a shit about that Milwaukee game.
My children, today is January 19th. My children, one or both of them, have been home every single day but one since January 15th. I am having like peak Kirk COVID flashbacks where I was just losing. And I love my kids, don't get me wrong, but I can't work. And so it's like I'm losing my mind. They go back to school tomorrow, thank goodness. But then it's the weekend. So, and we'll do this again on Saturday. So I hope you pop back in, okay?
All right. Talk to you later.
Right.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
My wife is in the background commenting. I'm going to bring on, so Killer Cam and MJ, you guys have been on before. I've not met Sam the Dirk fan, or it's been a while. So I'm going to bring him up first. Hope you guys don't get too pissed off by that, because I'm grateful that you're here. Sam, what's going on, dude?
Hi, Kirk. How you doing? Been a long time.
I am. So you have been on before.
Yes.
I really like your Bears hat going on. Repper, you should be a proud Bears fan right now.
I am. And I wanted to make a Mark Aguirre comment about him being difficult to deal with. Doesn't surprise me at all that a guy from Chicago is difficult to deal with in the NBA.
Good line. I like that.
No, dude, and the way it works out here is it's kind of like you just have to match the energy. If he's the only one bringing that particular, you need someone else, whether it be another player or a coach, to kind of get that yin yang thing going. But I wanted to just build off some of your Sean Marion comments, because I have my 2011 finals DVDs. I've been rolling through, just remembering the good old times. Marion took some weird shots on offense. He also had some unbelievable possessions on offense when the Mavs desperately would need a bucket. And so, like, it struck me as I was working through the games, I go, this guy was kind of secretly the co-MVP of the finals.
He was amazing.
Yeah, so I guess I just wanted to ask you, what do you remember about Sean Marion as a Maverick? Because when I was looking at his head in the jersey retirement ceremony behind, I was just like, man, I miss this guy. What did you like most about Marion?
So I remember where I was standing where the 4-team trade was completed that resulted in him coming to the Mavericks, and me being like, oh my God, because he was one of the few people who I felt ethically defended Dirk Nowitzki really well. Bruce Bowen was a cheap shot artist, and I hope everyone remembers that. I don't wish Bruce Bowen well.
Nope.
But Marion was a top tier defender for anyone, any size. He maybe couldn't guard Shaq. Who could? So when he came to the Mavericks, I was really intrigued. Offensively, I kind of wondered how it would work, because with the 7 seconds or less Suns, he very much wanted to be a primary guy, and he was most effective as a power forward. With the Mavericks, he was incredibly effective early in his career as a small forward, just because Dirk spaced the floor. So I remember a lot about his game. I've written and mumbled about him needing to be in the NBA Hall of Fame. For a player of his size, his stat compilation is unmatched. Draymond Green might come close by the time he retires, but Marion was a do everything guy. he weighed about 200 pounds and was maybe 6'7".
Oh,
Just
wow. That was great.
I love Marion. And the fact is he stayed with the Mavericks well past their expiration date. Like with like the 2013-14 Mavs, I think. I could be getting my dates wrong. He ended up with the Cavs for a while towards the end, but like this is a guy who I'm like, let's get his jersey up there. He was now he can't talk. Have you ever heard him in front of a mic lately?
No.
He uses like a blonde in the 90s. Says fuck all the time. Like those are the two words that he knows. And fuck. And it's so funny because he also is a vehement defender of that 2011 team. He will take no shit. He is like, we were better than everyone. Go to hell. And anyway, sorry, quite a Marion rant from me there. You primed me. Well done.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just, I mean, here, the thing is, he pops off the screen when you revisit it based on how the NBA's evolved and kind of what we look for these days. He's the guy that I go, oh my gosh, let's get this. You know, he could play in any era. Then the other observation that I had from watching those things, there's one possession in like game 1 or 2 where the Heat have the ball, the Mavs are rotating, it swings to LeBron, and Peja, of all people, runs out to guard him. And I'm thinking, oh, man, Peja's about to get put in the bucket. LeBron swings it to Chalmers. Mm-hmm. What was going on in the NBA back then where it wasn't an obvious thing? Peja's on LeBron.
What game was this? Which
this
one?
Was 1 or 2, one of the early games where Peja kept on ending up on LeBron. It happened once or twice where Peja ends up on LeBron. LeBron just sends it to Chalmers immediately. It really, I go, this would never happen today.
I mean, that's largely like that series. It will be LeBron's historical black mark because I think he averaged like 9 points. Like he was awful. And things like that were why, where it was that whole year, there's a lot of talk about him trying to get Spoelstra fired. I remember this very clearly. And then finally he bought in because it's like, oh, if you have space to go dunk on everyone, you have space to go dunk on everyone, which he didn't agree with. Like he was why Shaq went to Cleveland. He's like, we need a big man. And then he couldn't score and he couldn't figure out why. I mean, 2000s basketball, nobody knew what the hell they were doing in hindsight. Do you ever see these like NBA classic games where it's like Spurs Pistons and it's 74-62 and it's like, it's the end of the game. It's like, what were we watching?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's all I got. I'm a skedaddle, but love the show. Go Mavs, MFFL, and all
Thanks
that.
for joining.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Okay, before I bring on my friend Kill Cam, there's a question from John Stevenson. What were the boos for when Harper was talking? There's an ownership mention, meaning current Mavericks ownership, and people are just sort of primed to boo the Adelsons and Dumont, which can't blame them. Anyway, I'm going to insert some ads here. So I'm going to not talk for a few seconds, and then I'll bring Kill Cam up. So we'll be right back. 3. Okay, we're back. This is Pod Maverick. If you want to join the group therapy session that we're having here, you can click the link that is pinned in the comments. Coming up next, Kill Cam. How you doing, friend?
Man, gosh. Man, let's go ahead and get these selfish vets out the way, man. Like, he could have easily had 50 if the vets had just gave him the ball. Like I'm so sick of these dudes, man. Like it's just, yeah, I guess because they're losing now, but it's more just these dudes are just selfish and bad. Like,
stands out too much to you.
Yeah, I'm sick of them, man. They perfectly ruined a 50 ball. Especially like Caleb Martin. Like, I don't know what he was doing, man. Like, there's a wide open alley-oop, and he just tried to, get. And thank goodness Cade immediately benched him after that because it was like, come on, man, that was just selfish.
Would that have been his 50 and 51st points? No, that wouldn't.
No,
because he hit the 3 later.
That would have been his 44th.
Yes. Okay.
He would have broken the record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that would have led to him getting 51.
Yep.
So it's just like this ultimate selfishness. I'm sick of these guys. Coop, Like, I love Coop, man. Like, let's just. That's the thing. I'm so frustrated because I just don't know what the front office is doing. Like, dude, these dudes just aren't it, man. Like, let's go ahead and trade him for anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, we got a week. Like, so today's Thursday. Trade deadline's like midday, a week from today. I don't expect this team to be the same for a variety of reasons.
I hope
I'm gonna be interested to see what that means.
I mean, like, even if you bought him out, let's just give these young guys the burn, man.
I get it.
You know, because like we got nothing, man. Like, and then I forgot. Dang, I forgot. I was gonna talk about the Lakers game, but I kind of forgot. Man, and I don't know. PG is dealing with a lot of like baby mama stuff, man. But dude, it's just it's bad now. It's sad.
Yeah, and I don't
It's
think we should probably not speak on that. But what I will say is that whatever is clearly happening is affecting his play in a very measurable way.
Yeah, it is.
And I hate that.
I know I hate it too, but business wise, trade him as soon as possible and let him deal with that somewhere else. Like, I mean, like personally, man, I hope he hope him and his baby mom's situation kind of figures itself out. You know, it's hard when you have like a egomaniac as a baby mom. So it's like, but
my attorney wife has advised that I not comment on this, other than say that I've seen the videos, and every time I see the videos, I go, "Oh shit!"
Well, there's also ones where it's like it was at the Lakers game where we were playing at Crypto Arena, where like she tried to like set up him getting served at the game, like on the court, and I'm pictured that's why he missed that game for personal reasons.
I think so. He missed a couple in a row for stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was like, man, it's just like that stuff, man. Is it? And then dealing with all the injuries to your teammates, man. Like it just messes with you mentally. Like, so I completely understand that on a personal level, but on a business level, as soon as we can trade him,
which will be in the offseason if they can. I like PJ. So seeing him struggle is actually whoa. Sorry. My wife was moving some pots and pans in the background. It sounded like something was like Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I don't even know what we're saying.
Well. It's up for like we're talking about PJ. Also, Gap as well, man. Like, I mean, dude, like change those shoes, man, because I know they look cool and I know they're Kai's, man, but dude, they offer him zero ankle protection. Like,
this is a good point. The ankles rolling is really happening. I mean,
this is like it immediately happened this game, and it's like you could tell that it affected him, man. Like, it's just like treat him as well, man. I like Gaff, man, but dude, you were a big body. You were not a skill guard. You know, like he's wearing like the Kai threes and stuff, man. It's like, dude, that's point guard. Those are point guard shoes, man. Like you are. Like he is rolling his ankle every game because he's wearing point guard shoes.
Yes,
like, it's just like low cut point guard shoes, man. And it's just like, are you kidding me? At some point, man, I get it because they're not really letting him heal.
Yes,
but also stop wearing Kyrie's, man.
Don't wear a pair of sandals.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like.
Yeah.
It's like somebody playing in Crocs. You ever see that? Man. My kid always tries to do this, and I'm like, "You're absolutely putting on shoes. I'm not playing you in Crocs."
Yeah.
Anyway,
man, but gosh, man, Cormac's going through a little bit of a slump, man. But
2 games, yeah,
he's fine.
He'll be fine.
But guys, I just hate that they were. I just hate that the toughest best like B. Will and freaking Caleb Martin ruined a 50 ball.
Well, I mean, Caleb even playing is a tanking strategy. Like that dude shouldn't play. He just shouldn't play. The Mavericks have enough bodies. He should
I thought
play Miles Kelly.
I thought his point of attack defense was pretty good, but his offense, if he gets too confident, his offense is just like,
yeah, I get it.
I wouldn't mind him in like a Lou Dort role of just being a POA defender and then just like stay in the corner, you know. But it's like we don't have enough stars right now to where
they don't like they start lineups without a point guard, and then they get behind, and they're like, "Well, how on earth did this happen?" And it's like, "Well, the rest of us can see it. Jason Kidd can see it. That's what makes this all stupid. It's like we're all there's like an element of kayfabe going on where we have to ignore the obvious, and it just sort of pisses me off. Like I have not yet come out as a person to be like the Mavericks should tank, largely because I have to do this every game.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like, it is pretty much a organic tank.
Yes. No, these
they're just bad.
Because the Lakers game was the only one so far where I've been like, all right,
that was ridiculous.
Because they were
especially like you just saw like PJ and B Will put in their pants. I even never even thought of taking either of them out.
Yeah,
and Gaff was actually having a pretty good game, and it's like we just that was the clear one to where it's like we're taking, because ain't no way you saw PJ and B Will shooting us out the game. And then, or taking dumb fouls, and you just let them in. So it sucks, man. Because I get it. Because I want at least a top 5 pick, but I'm probably not gonna get it. So at least a top 10 pick to pair a Coop. But
hey, long way off. We still got 30-something games, and they play so many stinking road games, and the Mavericks are heinous on the road.
Yeah.
So it's This I think the organic phraseology is the best way. They're just going to lose a lot. They're going to have some good games, but it's unless if Cooper Flagg doesn't go 20 of 29 from the floor, the Mavericks are not in this game at all.
Yeah, not.
So
yeah, man. Kon, and also that's clear. Even though Kon is good, man, I still think Cooper's better, man, because Kon's kind of a cone on defense, and he's really not a good creator. Kon's great at shooting threes, but outside of that, he's kind of average to below average.
I don't know. I love him. He works with a weird team.
But no, he's not better than Coop, man. But
I also don't really care about the Coop. Part of me is if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, then Cooper Flagg has something to be mad at that's fake, and that's fine with me. You know what I mean? Something to motivate him.
Yeah, man. Gosh, man, but both of these are good, man. And hopefully we can get a good GM. But gosh,
I'm available. I'm just saying.
Man. Hopefully we can get Mark Lindsay back, man. Hopefully we can, because I do like him, and he was getting he was
nice moves.
So hopefully we can get him. We're probably gonna have to overpay, but they're
not our money.
Yeah, not our money. So hopefully we can get him, and he can just sort all this stuff out.
Well,
and then hopefully Mount Finley and Riccardi aren't scary enough to not trade no one, because they're not winning anything, man. Please stop getting. And I know it's mainly the owner as well, kind of stopping stuff. But dude, just get out the way, man. This team is not good enough. Stop trying to keep everybody. They're never going to be healthy at the same time. So please just get out the way, man, and just hand over the checkbook. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Hey, brother, appreciate you coming on. Talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Killer Cam's been here for me from these nights when nobody else comes in. So, MJ, you're next. Then we're going to go to Proud Vet, who hasn't actually been on before, at least that I don't remember. And then Ash Boy and Cowboy. We got a cadre of old folks tonight, so I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. MJ, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going? Talking about Marion, what people don't remember in the finals, he really did a great job on LeBron.
LeBron. He had a terrible, he had the worst assignments.
He frustrated LeBron terribly, and he punked him, and he trash talked him. He called him all these words like bitch, and he just completely demeaned LeBron, got into his head. And so a lot of people believe that's why LeBron had such a bad series, because of what Marion did, and also the defense. The defense that they and people don't realize. I think Casey was he was the guy who did the defense for the Mavericks in the finals, and Dwayne Casey, black guy. He used to, and then he went to Toronto, where then LeBron just completely took out his frustration every time he played Toronto. Yeah. He killed Toronto single-handedly.
For
everyone
years.
for years for that 2011 to try to get back at what they did to him, what Carlisle and what Casey, did defensively to really frustrate, LeBron.
For sure.
But you talk about Aguirre. I grew up in the '80s, so I'm older than you guys, and I just remember that it was really interesting for Isaiah to say. I don't think I'd heard him ever say that without Aguirre that they wouldn't have won those 2 championships because they traded Dantley for Aguirre. And that's exactly what they needed in the '89 season. They won the championship in '89 and '90. And without Aguirre, I think he's right because for some reason with Dantley, people don't realize they played the Celtics in '88. I'm sorry. They played the Celtics, I believe, in '87 when Dantley bumped heads and basically had a concussion and it was knocked out. And the Celtics came back and won. Then eventually the Pistons beat the Celtics to go to the finals, but then they lost to Lakers. And people don't remember where Isaiah had 24 points in the third quarter of Game 6 of the finals. So if they win that game, they win the championship. But for some reason, they got a phantom call on Kareem and basically took it to overtime. And then they eventually took it to Game 7. They won. And then the Lakers won back-to-back, championships. So, so there's a lot of history, and it was kind of interesting to see the two, to see Aguirre and to see Isaiah, because they really were really close. And you just have to kind of admire both of them. I mean, I remember watching Aguirre just for his size, the way he just dominated in low post. I mean, he was just spectacular, offensively. Yeah. Not a great defensive player, but
who was the
80s? This is true. So it was really good seeing that, and I didn't really know that. One thing I didn't know Dirk was apparently Dirk, has a really good relationship with Aguirre.
That one was interesting. It felt a little astroturfed, but I also don't care because I want I would like these guys to be friends, even if they're not. Yeah. Because as we kind of talked about on the earlier show, I'm not sure if you're listening. Josh and I talked about how it's like the Maverick, like whatever happened, the organization and Maguire and Aguirre were apart for a very long time, and so whatever, sometimes you just got to get folks back together. So it's good stuff.
It was kind of ironic, with Cooper having the kind of game that he had. I mean, my goodness, man, that guy's like, wow. I mean, I don't know if I want to say, I mean, it's, because you look at what Luka did, his second year, from his first to second year, and Cooper is doing this in his first season.
Yep.
And he is a maniac working out. Matter of fact, I heard him in the press conference, after the game, and he said he's working on a shot. You could tell that because he's improving by daily. He's improving his range and just his
comfort level. Just what I see,
exactly. And he's got the defense, and I think he's going to be even a better defender once he learns about stuff. And I mean,
defense is such a team effort, but I mean, that's what Flagg was. Why he was so touted. It wasn't his offense; it was his defensive effort.
Right.
So,
but so you have his defense, and then you add his improving offense, and his confidence. Now I know he's playing a mid team, right? I mean, Charlotte has virtually almost the same record.
Yeah,
they're a little better record than the Mavericks.
Yeah,
but I just, you just have to. I mean, I know the Mavericks are really bad on the road, but something tells me that if they don't make any like super trades, like if they keep their players, or if they keep, who was it? The Splash Brother.
Clay.
They keep Clay, and they don't do anything, with some of the other players, and maybe if they trade AD, who knows what. Do you think they're going to trade AD before the deadline?
I think they have the team is way too expensive to be bad, because they were also very expensive last year and bad. And that like the tax payments for these teams start to be punitive. They're owed right now. If they do nothing, they'll owe $30 million to the NBA. Next year, if they do nothing, if they just keep this same team in there, which obviously is going to happen, but their tax payment projects next year to be $120 million. Like the Edelmans are made of money, but rich people don't become rich by giving away their money. So,
I mean, you got to get rid of AD. I mean, I'm not going to say that trade him for a sandwich, but you can't. He says, "Oh, I want to play." No, man, you played like 20 something games in 2 years or whatever. So no, you need to go, and we need to get on and get some expiring contracts.
Yeah. Well, hey, brother, appreciate you hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
All right, talk soon. Okay, I'm going to bring on longtime listener, pretty sure first-time caller, Mr. Proud Vet. Ashboy, I hope you don't mind, and Cowboy too, but I just, want to give people who come on. What's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, how'd you enjoy your the game Saturday in the suite?
Just such a unreal experience. I talked about it a little bit, a long time, probably the last 20 minutes of Josh and I's podcast last night, so I would encourage people to go listen to that podcast that no one listened to because the game was so horrible. The Wolves game was, but it was as I've tried to contextualize to my son, I'm saying what happened that night is something that money cannot buy.
Yeah,
it was a once in a lifetime thing, and I had a great time with it.
The thing that spoke to me about it was Luka might actually still be engaged with Mavs media. People are, wish casting that Luka might want to actually come back.
Yeah.
To me, that's a small sign. That's what it spoke to me, that he's still engaged with the Mavs in some way.
I think so too. He has like a new business venture that like launched and is based out of Dallas. And I tried to explain to somebody that's because it's a lot easier to start a business in Texas versus California.
Yeah.
But
it's because Texas is the new hot spot for incorporation.
Sorry, my wife heard me and was like, Texas is the new hot spot for incorporation, as she told me.
Yeah.
But it was, I appreciate his because this really, I talked to his manager for a while, and I'm always a little skeptical, and like this really was his idea. He's like, I want to do something. Now they made it happen for him, but it was a very neat deal. I think he does love here. I don't think he's really divested himself from the state, because he talked about in the post game how he was happy that he got to go see his cars, which made me laugh out loud, because that means like there's still enough of his property here that he, it's just probably really big. I can't imagine living on multiple states and continents, but it was good to see him. And, if he ever decides that his next contract, which he could sign in 2 years, 3 years, the 5-year, $400 million one, if he doesn't actually need that money, then sure, maybe there's a chance. But I'm kind of in where I think you are, where I'm just highly skeptical of any actual thing like that ever happening.
Yeah. And the thing about Coop, great game, incredible game. The thing with Coop, my only complaint about Coop, he gives me Jordan vibes, but Jordan took over when nobody else, you know what I mean? It's like when there's a vacuum, just take it. I believe Kid is doing a master class in tanking because he wants Tyree to come back to Cooper's team. Like the way it was set up, Cooper was joining Tyree and AD's team. He's trying to flip that. That's why they're delaying Kyrie. They're giving this year to Cooper. Tyree's going to come back. Cooper, take over. I want you to save some of this for Luka. This thing with Luka is important. So that game Saturday, I needed him. Cooper has a competitive will. He can make 3-point shots when he wants to. So they were giving us 3 Saturday, and he wasn't looking at them. See, that's what I'm saying. Have a game like this, not like this, but have one of your, like, we're going to make a statement tonight.
Well,
when Luke is in the building.
the Saturday game was very funny because I was sitting a suite down from his mother. Like I could hear her. She was 15 feet away from me. And she was losing her mind at the shots that he was passing up and the shots he was missing. Because he was really not.
Yeah.
He was 7 of 20 from the floor in the Laker game.
Yeah.
I think where and I don't even know how you do this. I think the Mavericks are trying to encourage him to be selfish. And I just don't think that's in his being to like he wants to make the right basketball play. Like the play that Max Christie hit his only made 3 of the game happened when Cooper probed and then pulled back and swung the ball. He didn't force the action. And then we're watching on the play that should have been, potentially a game winning shot from him. And he probes, he pulls back. He probes again, he pulls back, and then throws that horrible pass over Christie's head. And nobody in their right mind, or nobody that knows basketball well enough, would have been mad at him if he just kept the ball and forced the shot. Because there's no one else on the team that wanted the ball.
Yeah. So to me, the tanking part, remember, kid, from the time he got here, 3-point attempts is the thing. So when you see his team not getting up threes, that's the tanking part.
Yep.
And so to me, look at this. When Cooper came in, 60% of what we see him doing, he did not have this in his bag. That's how fast he's developing. But he's veering from the 3-point shot because they're tanking. That's how I see it. But he's going to be fine. It's going to be his team. Like I said, Kyrie's coming back to Cooper's team next year. And so whatever the thing, but I will tell you this, I don't think he's on this thing with AD and tearing it down. Like, think about it. If the Mavs have their Caitlin Clark, right? Would the WNBA have loved to have put her on a team that was a playoff team that was playing important games? Of course they would. To me, the NBA is in the interest of having Cooper Flagg in a first-round series. Maybe next year. I think they were hoping this year. That's how the schedule. You mentioned the schedule. The schedule was set up for Kyrie to be back by now.
Yep.
And then the AD to be in place. So, but it was a great game. He's growing by leaps and bounds. Jordan was not an offensive player. His competitive juices caused him to have to add things because you got to score. So that's what I see with Coop. He's becoming an offensive player before our eyes. And he'll have that 3-point shot. That's all that's left.
Which is so funny. It's so funny to be like, oh, you only thing. And I there's a lot of funny things over the different, we've watched Dirk, we've watched Luka, who's another younger player, like Josh Howard to an extent.
Yeah.
Like you watch these guys, you're like, okay, these are the parts of their game that I hope they go work on. And with Flagg, it really only is the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
It's very silly to me that it just feels unreal that he's this good this early.
Yes, he's massive. He can get to anywhere he wants, but you gotta put those threes up. And like I said, we'll get back to that next year when Kyrie's gravity is there. Even though AD's shooting is the reason I want to get rid of him. I mean, you guys have been on it from before the season started. His mid range is broken.
It's so amazing though, because if you talk basketball with one of your friends who, let's just say, isn't hopping on live shows on the internet on a Thursday night, a lot of people think AD is a pretty okay shooter, and it's like, let me break your heart by informing you that he couldn't hit water in the ocean. It's very unfortunate. Anyway, I'm glad you joined.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good night.
All right.
Yep.
All right. This is the great podcast where I get to all these older Mavs fans like me, making me feel better. How you doing, buddy? Ash Boying, what's going on?
What's going on, man? Hadn't talked to you in a while.
Oh, I know. It's because I haven't been hosting these shows. It's just between games, sickness. I was like, my kids put me down for the count for like 3 days. But now we're back.
I took 2 weeks off around Christmas because my son came in, and I've been.
Oh,
paying
that's
for
right.
it
You
ever
went to the
since.
A&M game.
Yeah, we went to the A&M game, but yeah, he came in. I took 2 weeks off, and I've been paying for it ever since. I mean, it's just you know, yeah, I was just getting caught up, and then this ice storm hit, and that's 3 days that I wasn't able to go to work. So I'm going to be paying for that too. So
Of course. Well, I'm glad you're hanging out this tonight. What you thinking?
well, you said Cooper. One of the things I'll take exception with is you said Cooper's only skill that he needs to master is a 3-point shot. I'd like him to tighten up his handle too.
Sure.
When you watch that, when you watch that Laker game, they were poking the ball away from him quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he's kind of got that high dribble because he's almost 6'9", and he's just got to. I wish they'd get Shamgod back here and because I think Shamgod would do worlds of good for both Cooper and Christie. But
yeah. The handle is kind of a like NBA is like almost every single player I look at them and I'm like, you need a better handle. Because you watch somebody like Kyrie, who's just a next level person, and then like the ball control of your Tyrese Halliburtons and your really, really ball dominant players. It's like, oh yeah, everybody needs to get better at this.
Well, but it's between Cooper and Isaiah, who are the best probably ball handlers I've ever seen.
Sure.
But talking about Mark Aguirre, the reason Mark Aguirre was so good, especially in the low post, is because he had that big giant butt that guys couldn't get close to him, and it made his turnaround jump shot so good because he always had space.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing him at DePaul, and I thought, man, they have to order special shorts for him probably, because he just had that big giant butt that just backed people down. So that's the one thing I remember with Aguirre. The other thing I remember is Game 7 in 1988. You would have been about 4 years old, but he hurt his left middle finger and he couldn't play like Mark Aguirre the rest of the game. And I'm convinced if he wouldn't have gotten that injury, we'd have been in the finals. But we weren't, and that's where we are. So, but I'm having trouble with Max Christie because you think he's turning a corner and then he has 2 clunkers like he's had the last 2 games, and that's.
But is it so? This is kind of the challenge of being a 3-point shooting specialist because you're correct in the handle. Like he just doesn't have a handle. Christie as well, and if he's not able to put the ball on the floor, like he gets the ball in the paint, and it becomes very much an oh no situation for him. So it's like I just don't know how to feel about him. Like because I really love him is the short answer, but I don't know what sort of player he could be. Is I think the real and I just think, okay, if that's his role, if he's a 3-point shooting guy, if he's the, the 4th best player on the Mavericks floor, who's helping them in a given game, then they're going to be just fine.
The player that he could be is, I don't know if you've watched Illinois play this year, but they've got a kid named Keaton Wagler.
Our chat is often alive about him, but I don't know anything of him.
Well, he reminds me so much of Max Christie with his shot, just the way he moves. Things like that, but he's got a better handle. And he's got more court vision.
Okay.
So, a lot of people compare him to Jamal Murray, but he looks like, he just reminds me of so much of Max Christie with a floor game. So, that would be, if the Mavericks are picking like in the back half of the 10s, that would be a guy that I would be looking at because I just think that he'd be a really, really good, running mate for Cooper. But now here's my question: Najee doesn't play tonight. Does that smell funny to you? Does that maybe smell like something might be brewing, or did he really need a rest?
It's the first game he's missed. It's the first game he's missed, and I think that there's some ethical tanking going on insofar as they can try.
Does that make sense? Tanking? Yeah, is it ethical tanking, or are they holding him out because they might have something?
They should trade him, but I just have no idea if they will.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams that would give up a first-round pick for a guy like the Spurs. He completes their roster.
Yes.
Honestly, if Najee's playing for the Spurs, the Thunder better watch out, because I mean, I just, on that team, because you got Wemby that can actually shoot the ball, so that's gonna create even more space for Najee, and goodness gracious, I mean, if you don't have a shot blocker in there, he's gonna torch you for 24 in the paint. I mean, honestly.
Yes, he's outstanding.
I mean, I think the Spurs would give up a first rounder for him. I mean, if they're smart.
Well, they're difficult because they're, every time Wemby says something, I want to shove him in a 7'5" locker. Fucking dork.
I mean, even the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder would benefit from Najee. I mean, honestly. So, and both those teams have picks that are going to be kind of in the low teens, which would be a great spot for the Mavericks. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
They held Najee out, and I've never heard of Najee, being on a rest game.
Well, I mean, but that's what it has to be some of it. It has to be that there are trade discussions. I just don't. I just don't have any inclination as to what's going on.
Well, I was just wondering if maybe you knew something, because
no, I've not asked.
Than I am.
I've not asked because I don't. To me, the fact that we've not heard any chatter means one of two things. Yes, the Mavericks are absolutely involved in all sorts of different discussions, or they're not involved in any discussions whatsoever because nobody knows who to call because there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well, that's true too. But in the Mavericks history, when have you ever heard chatter that turned out? I mean, all their trades just came out.
These last 2 years have been more thorough. There have been a lot more out there because it's like strategic, but now we don't know.
Right. It's just the Mavericks way just to kind of not talk about the trades they're actually making, and talk about the trades they're not making. I mean, that's just kind of the way it works. And I haven't heard them talk about Najee all that much, except to say, well, we're going to want a first round pick for him.
Yep.
And that's about it. And so I'm not so sure something maybe might not be up, but I also kind of understand the ethical tanking side of it too. So that's just all I've got tonight, and I'm gonna let you go. It's getting almost to midnight, so I'm gonna let you get to bed. But
Appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, I'll probably get some more time now that everybody's back in the swing of things. So.
Oh yeah.
I'll talk to you later, man.
We'll talk soon, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Coming up next is my man, Brandon. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Kirk, can you hear me?
I can. Was this an exciting jersey retirement for you? Do you feel 1,000 years old? Tell me what's going on.
1,001 years old. Look, my thing is I was interested in the round table that they had. And the reason why is because it seems like there was a lot of turmoil on the team, but the guys really didn't talk about it. Because when I listened to Rolando Blackman talk, he kept bringing up, I don't need guys, screaming at me. I don't need to be told what, kind of the context clues of what he was saying.
You're talking way back when, right?
I'm talking way back when. But if you remember.
No, I don't. I'm not old enough.
I'm sorry. Let me date back.
Yes, that's why. Yeah, dig in for us, please.
So in the round table that they had with Skin, Rolando Blackman was bringing up when he was a player how, based off, kind of like he doesn't need to be told what to do. He doesn't need people screaming at him. Because the comment was, Brad Davis was always I guess you could say the adult in the room, kind of mature, kind of explain stuff to him instead of screaming at him. My takeaway from the interview was it was a lot of turmoil on that team that didn't come out. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I do recall reading, and I, from looking at the games and just based off of my memory, is he got into a fight in practice with Donaldson. And after that fight, that next season, he went to New York, but I don't think that Donaldson played the rest of that year. But I don't believe that was the first, clash with teammates that Rolando Blackman had. So just going off of what he was mentioning, it seems that, he kind of fell back out of, I guess you could say, the good graces of the Dallas Mavericks. because of the conflict behavior.
Yeah.
But then
There's
also, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kurt.
Did you hear my theory earlier that like when you get that close to a Western Conference final, like to the NBA finals, sometimes like we saw this with the Suns, like the Mavericks detonated on them and they were simply never the same. It feels like that kind of happened that Western Conference Finals Mavericks team.
They were a bunch of young guns. That Mavericks team was a bunch of young guns. And like just in hindsight, Brad Davis he wasn't a vet, but he was an older guy on the team and he was still kind of young.
Yep.
Sam Perkins was young, Wilmington was young, Dallas Strip was young. All of this talent was young, and they were, kind of just raw talent. But my takeaway from, just and even like the Mark Aguirre part, how it was a couple of times he was saying that, he should have kept his mouth closed. Like it was one part of the interview when he was talking about the All-Star game when he didn't make it. He was like, well, I should have kept my mouth closed. And then there was a time whenever I guess he was kind of lobbying for, Rolando Blackman to get into the starting lineup over Brad Davis. He's like, I should have maybe kept my mouth closed on that part. It seems that, and after he left, Dallas kind of scorched Mark Aguirre. But I kind of wonder if it was a lot due to him and them at the same time.
Sure. I mean, that tracks with with just sort of how people work.
Yeah. But it was interesting. It was a lot of nostalgia. But I'm glad that, kind of like Dirk was saying, when he looks up, they'll see that the Aguirre jersey was retired. If you think about it, it's not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of teams that, a lot of players that Dallas Maverick fans can, rely on and say, man, JJ Perez and Devin Harris and Jet, there's pillars to the team, but there's only one Mark Aguirre, one Rolando Blackman, and kind of and the thing about Sam Perkins, I like him, but I would question if they would retire his jersey because he didn't come into fruition until he went with the Lakers.
Sure,
he was super raw talent, and even with Dallas Shrimp, they were super raw talent and they left, or for whatever reason they had left. But it's good to see that he left. I mean, I'm sorry that he was able to come back, but.
Well, if I was to have my druthers about whose jerseys they retire, I would want them to consider Jason Terry, Michael Finley. Finley probably isn't going to get it just because he didn't. The level of accomplishment with the team wasn't really the same, despite the fact that his 6 seasons after he got traded to the Mavericks are among the most ridiculous stat lines that I've ever seen. Yeah. Then I'd probably go Marion over Tyson, but I think the team would go Tyson over Marion just because of how important Marion was to those teams. And then after that, it kind of takes a bit of a dip, but that's just me. Jason Kidd, no jersey retirement. I don't like you, jerk. Just kidding.
Yeah, I wouldn't retire Kidd's jersey either. But man, to me, like definitely Jet, because, and I would say Jet, and I would say Marion, and the reason why I would say Marion is because he was the glue for a lot of those teams, just like Jason Terry was the glue for a lot of those teams as well.
Exactly right.
I mean, you can't go off of accomplishments because Dallas is an accomplished team. There's
right.
Not a lot to look at and say, man, you really carried this team because these guys, they got bounced. They would make it, but they would get bounced. You know what I mean? And you know what? They brought up Mata, but then I always think about like who was the best coach in Mavs history. I know you're gonna hate this, but maybe not. But to me, Carlisle, and the reason why I say he did more with less. To me.
I think Carlisle is probably the best Matt. Right? It's just like the reason Carlisle had to do more with less is because he was an asshole, and nobody wanted to come play for him. Like there was all this stuff that I didn't really understand until later, and like Carlisle seems to have mellowed a little bit, but like they wasted Dirk's post prime, kind of 2012 on in no small part because nobody wanted to play for Rick, nobody liked Mark Cuban, and nobody liked Donnie Nelson. Like those things happened. And unfortunately, that's going to be a situation I think that kind of gets lost to time, which maybe that's for the best because you don't want to remember all the bad things. But, it's just sort of the nature of sports sometimes. But yeah, Carlisle, obviously incredible coach.
Yeah, when you got to give up a first round pick to get rid of Rondo, that means there's some tension in the room. But, and I always wonder, like, is Carlisle going to be a Hall of Fame coach? Because he won with the Celtics, he won with the Mavericks.
I think so, just because I think he'll keep coaching another
He's doing a
5 or
stellar
6
job
years. So,
Yeah.
well, hey man, you got anything else?
No, man, and just one more thing. Just like the current talent on the Mavericks teams. I mean, it is what it is. I was looking at that dude, Flagg, but just to try to add some more context or try to mix up the conversation. I mean, Ball is so athletic. Just think he's 2 inches shorter than Flagg, and he's just like a little bit older, but he's still kind of super athletic, and like it's just crazy how talented these guys are these days. Like they don't play the same, but the athleticism is definitely worth watching. I'm just hoping that Dallas could do something soon, because I was listening to something about the Milwaukee Bucks and Detroit. They have a lot of dead money. Dallas doesn't have very much dead money, so that's one of the things that Dallas has going for themselves. Like all the trade stuff, I can't really speak on, but I'm just like, man, if anybody wants to get rid of some of that dead cap, I'm hoping that Dallas wins on that end. That's the only way I can think of Dallas really winning in any type of trade scenario anytime soon. If a team wants to get rid of some dead money and send off a good player and take in some of Dallas players.
All right, man. We'll talk after the next game, hopefully. Mavs Rockets on Saturday. You be good, okay?
Thank you, Kirk.
All right. Coming up next, it's a long-time listener who just abandoned me for like 18 months. Krishna, how you doing, buddy? You're muted.
Of course I'm muted. How are you, Kirk?
Go. I'm good. What's going on?
Good. Sorry, just been busy, all the job stuff, and
I wouldn't want to follow the Mavericks.
No,
says the guy who runs the Mavericks podcast.
He's so good. No, I mean, obviously I've been following the pod and stuff. It's just I've been on late, but God, it's so funny, like watching all the Super Bowl stuff as well.
Sure.
And it's so I was thinking about it because obviously it's so interesting, like now that we're like kind of reset everything back to the beginning in terms of you're trying to build now a new team around Coop. And to me, I don't know, maybe you might disagree with me on this take. I think the idea that like there's one pathway or like you have to follow this pathway to building a team, I think is the dumbest take I've ever seen. Like for me, at least, I've found that if you try to follow pathways or how other teams build, I think you're ultimately just not doing yourself a service in actually building a good roster. In the sense that if you look at a lot of the failures that the Mavs had, even 14-15 and post Dirk, but especially once Steph Curry and the Warriors became a dynasty, and you've mentioned this a lot, and I give you credit for this, is they just chased so many trends without ever understanding, one, who they had on their roster, and two, the limitations that they had at their disposal.
Yeah.
To me, and I think it's something that really bad. There was something that we kind of lucked out of with Dirk, honestly, in the mid 2000s, was that Dirk was such a like cover up for so many things. And I think they still made good enough moves, obviously, during that time, especially like you consider how devastating the West has been like this entire like century at this point, like in the 21st century. But now, especially like the margin for error is so fine, especially in the West at this point, where it's like, while I hear so many people saying like, oh, completely tank out, maybe it's just me personally. One, I don't really want to see a team that's like super devoid of talent, but two, I also just don't know fundamentally how good of a strategy that is just for like the well-being of players, like their psyche overall.
I mean,
Especially
like, with the Jazz, like the Jazz, the Mavericks lost to the Jazz twice, and the Jazz were playing pedigree guys that were first round selections in the upper quadrant of that first round, and the Mavericks were playing undrafted and second round guys, and that group beat the shit out of the Jazz twice.
Yeah, I mean, we almost set a record for most points at a game twice. Like we were at 140 both games. Like it's just not like. And look at the process Sixers. Like they went through that whole BS, and then like they're back where they started now, and they have to rebuild with Tyrese and VJ Edgecombe. Like it's, to me, the idea that you follow this same pathway and then you get to the same result is like a completely BS thing. To me, the thing that is similar with all great teams is you have to have like a a title defining superstar, like someone you can say that when you're in the finals, they're going to win finals MVP. I think that's kind of the only thing. To me, the only exception to that would be maybe like the 2004 Pistons, where
Right.
that was just like a pure team where you could argue there was no player more important than the other. But I can't think of another team in just the history of the NBA and most sports in general where you felt like, oh, this team was built like that. And so to me, at least, and I know a few people have talked about like who's going to be traded, who's not. And I think this wasn't reported by them, obviously the lockdown Mavs guys, but I think some reports of like, hey, we're not going to trade Najee and Max unless you get to like this floor of like,
they're not trading Max whatsoever. I don't think so. They're putting Najee out there because they have to say, all right, if we're going to move from this guy, we need something of value, because Najee only has one more year on his deal and he's going to get
well, he has 1 year and it's $7 million. You cannot tell me a team can't match $7 million. Even a team in like cap disarray, they can match $7 million for Najee. I think the thing is, it's like, again, a big part of it, and you've pointed it out, is like how much is the dysfunction of just having two interim GMs. You have the owner, you have Mark Cuban. Like, you're kind of in a similar place where you were before you had an actual GM, where it's like, who am I supposed to call to actually make decisions is an interesting conundrum. But I'm excited. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And I think this is, like, from what I've been hearing, this is such a talented draft where just kind of getting a shot at another player who's young and talented is important. But the big thing I think as well, and the one thing I really hope we can keep doing is taking shots on guys in the G League. Like the fact that you can get like Jerome Robinson Earl, who's like he's not great, but you can pull him up for like
he's
a game
a fringe
or two and
NBA
it's fine.
player.
Yeah, like him, and then obviously Ryan Nembhard is like fine. I think Ryan Nembhard is like fine. I never thought he was like this perfect solution or anything, but like considering you just needed someone to run an offense for a little bit, like
the ball accurately.
It's fine. Like these kinds of things, I'm okay with. What you don't want is you don't want a whole roster full of that. So it'll be interesting, but I don't know. I'm just happy. Like it seems like at least the environment is better, and I do have to give credit to that. I don't like Kid a lot, especially for a lot of his coaching decisions, but I give credit to him in the sense that I don't know how he's done it, but he keeps the locker room like fairly stable, considering the absolute like shit show this has been.
Absolutely.
Especially this past year, but even the past 4 years, like all the craziness that's happened, it's really easy to forget. Like, and I think he's mentioned it, how bad it was in Milwaukee too. Like you think, especially comparing like someone like a Giannis, where maybe that's different now, but like Giannis was not the type of player where it's like you thought a locker room would get that crazy. But I give him some credit on that. But it'll be interesting to see. And this is fun. The thing is, I'm glad at least the team is fun. I think this would be a much worse and much more difficult time to watch this team if it was like literally the Cooper of like, I think we don't understand. This could be like the 2004 Cavs where it's like LeBron and literally nobody. And luckily, I don't think our team is that bad. But I do think also the floor of NBA teams is much higher than back then. But it could be a lot worse. And I'm glad at least we have NBA basketball players on our team. Which,
man.
I don't know of a lot of players that can say that, or a lot of teams that can say that at least.
I think that's a fair take. Well, hey, glad you hopped on tonight.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, take care. I know it's getting super late, so you probably want to get some sleep.
I'm just old. Like, it's been a long week. You know how it is. All right, man. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Great show, guys. Thanks so much for having fun, hanging out with me. We'll be back again on Saturday, Mavericks Rockets. Remember to tell your friends. That's how we grow the show. Everybody be good. Go Mavs.